I can still hear my mother's voice from that day, sharp, cold, and final. You're not taking anything. Hand over that bag. Her words echoed through the marble hall of the house that used to be mine. My grip tightened around my suitcase. The last piece of my life I could still claim. Then my father's hand grabbed my hair, yanking me backward. His touch wasn't a father's. It was the hand of a man removing an unwanted intruder. He dragged me across the same floor I'd helped pay for. All I said was, "You'll regret this." No shouting, no tears, just a promise. I was their only son. Quiet, loyal, dependable. The one who always obeyed. Until the day my father called a family meeting. My sister Alina sat next to them, perfectly dressed, a smug smile barely hidden. That's when they told me my $10 million inheritance. The business shares my grandfather had left for me had been transferred to her. Alina understands a business better. My father said, "You're too emotional." I stared at him, then at my mother, who couldn't even meet my eyes. The papers were already signed, the accounts emptied. My name had been erased. When I protested, my mother said coldly, "Don't embarrass yourself. This is what's best for the family." When I refused to leave, she screamed. And when I still wouldn't go, my father made sure I did. He threw me out himself. That night, I stood outside the locked gate, hair messy, pride shattered, and watched Alina peeking from the balcony. There was pity in her gaze and victory in her smile. I didn't cry. I didn't sleep. Something colder than pain took its place. Something patient. I moved into a small apartment downtown. Quiet, forgettable, perfect. People think revenge begins with anger. It doesn't. It begins with silence, with watching and waiting. For months, I studied everything they owned, every company, every asset, every account. My father's hidden partnerships, Alina's new ventures, my mother's charity funds, all tied together by one thing, trust. Trust that I was gone. I still had access to the old server backups, the client files, the transaction logs my father never deleted. He never imagined I'd use them. He also forgot that I still had the company seal my grandfather had registered decades ago. I didn't steal a cent. I didn't hack anything. I just redirected attention. Quietly and legally, I sent the right documents to the right people, regulators, auditors, journalists. Within weeks, headlines exploded. Malik Enterprises under investigation. Charity funds misused. My father scrambled to contain the damage. My mother begged for silence. Alina panicked, her face plastered across every news site she once flaunted on. That was only the first phase. Next came the part they'd never see coming. I showed up at the annual business gala, the event they'd banned me from after disowning me. I wore a dark tailored suit. Every eye turned as I approached their table. "Hello, Mother. Father. Alina." My mother's hand trembled around her wine glass. My father didn't speak. Alina looked like she wanted to disappear. "Still think I'm too emotional?" I asked softly. No one answered. I leaned closer. "You remember grandfather's will? It had a clause. If the business was ever tied to criminal or ethical violations, ownership reverts to the original heir." Their faces drained of color. "You can confirm it with the lawyers," I said, standing. "They'll verify it tomorrow." By morning, the news hit again. The company frozen. Assets seized. The clause confirmed. Everything, every share, every property, legally reverted to me. They lost everything. I didn't smile. I didn't celebrate. When my mother came to my door days later, eyes red, voice trembling, she whispered, "Please, son, we didn't mean it." I stopped her. "You meant every word." I said, "You just never thought there'd be consequences." Now, I live in the same house they threw me out of. The furniture is new, but the floors are the same, the ones my father dragged me across. Sometimes I walk barefoot down those halls, tracing that path. Their photos are gone. Only one remains, my grandfather's, the man who saw something in me when no one else did.